Hey guys, how's it going? Brandon here and welcome back you guys to another Pokemon Team Builder. We are here today to talk about the brand new Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. A lot of you guys have been asking about my thoughts on this and the games itself. If you guys aren't aware of the Discord, there's a link in the description. Come down and join the discussion there. So what I thought I would do is I'd put together a team of what I think is going to be the best to use through these games. Now, of course, quick disclaimer before we get this underway, that it's opinion-based. There's a lot of things we don't know about the games as of recording, what the dex is going to look like, how TMs, HMs and all that are going to work with the new updated ways that the games work. As of Generation 4 originally, that there were limited amount of TMs. Obviously, Generation 5 introduced that it was unlimited use, so there's that sort of aspects. Tutor moves, sort of like mons that are going to be exclusive to each games, how I think they're going to do. So I'll explain different parts of the team that I've put together and my assumptions that I've put towards the games. Now, before we get under this way, like I said, it's opinion based. If you want to change anything about this team, then go ahead and do so. It's going to be your first playthrough of the brand new remakes. There's going to be things that are going to be different. We're hoping are going to be different. I personally hoping that there's going to be some things different and updated for the recent generations. So we've got to keep that in mind. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to be talking through each part as it comes and just sort of like the bits that come with it and explaining my reasonings behind using what I'm going to be using. This generally would be the team that I used first time I played through this game. I think it's all in out probably the most well-balanced and rounded team that you could use throughout the games, with things considered, of course. But I just want to remind you guys, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, as 80% of my viewership are not subscribed to the channel, so please do me a massive favour, click that subscribe button, turn the bell notifications on so you do not miss an upload or a live stream or anything we do on the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this. First up on the team, we have our starter, and for the starter for this run, I am going to be going with Infernape. I have a really funny feeling that in terms of the dex and how it's going to work again, the fire types are going to again be very limited. I am hoping and praying that we do have Houndoom and sort of Magmortar and the Platinum dex. I am really hoping that the Platinum dex of Mons is in the game. Obviously with the added of Fairy typing as well, there may be some addedness in and around in different places. Like I'm basically hoping that the Platinum dex is in the games and that they don't use the original Diamond and Pearl dex, because like I said, there were a lot of Mons that got missed out and weren't usable until Platinum come out. But still, even with the Platinum dex, I am going to be going with Infernape. It is arguably the best of all three. I'm going to go with a special one once again. If you recently saw the Infernape team builder we did recently, special Infernape just runs better in my opinion. The physical moveset for Infernape is great with likes of Flare Blitz and close combat and stuff like that, but it's the limitation of you're lowering your defenses with close combat and you're taking recoil from Flare Blitz, and it doesn't sit well with me. You could run this thing as a mixed attacker, maybe a minus defense or special defensive nature. Personally for this team I'd go minus specially defensive nature, maybe up special attack and run close combat over Focus Blast, because I know a lot of people despise Focus Blast because of its accuracy, and I understand that if it's not 100% it's basically 50%, and the same for that. But I've gone with Flamethrower, Focus Blast, Grass Knot, Calm Mind, the pretty standard set. Calm Mind Infernape, considering its speed, modest nature as well, it will just sweep through teams. Flamethrower is pretty much all you need, considering the fire fighting combination, both being super effective against things like steel and ice. You are going to be clicking Flamethrower more often than none, so a +1 modest close combat, +1 modest Flamethrower is going to do a lot of damage to a lot of things. Grass Knot obviously covers your water weakness. In my opinion, it's the best way to use Infernape in the games, period. It's a fantastic starter. It's our starter for this run. It is Infernape. On to our water type for this playthrough, and I'm going with Gyarados again. It's the best in-game water type, period, especially since the physical special split coming in, and obviously the way it is now. Early game, Gyarados just absolutely runs through things, and there's literally no one that can disagree with this. There is no counter-argument to Gyarados not being the best in-game water type. Base 125 attack, adamant nature with Dragon Dance. It's a no-brainer for me, and it should be a no-brainer for most people. If we're going for the absolute best, then it's Gyarados. It just is. There are obviously substitutes. If you want to go for a special water type, then there's options there. But in terms of what I'm running, and free physical, free special, no duplicate typings, it's the best physical water type in the game, period. Waterfall, Dragon Dance, Earthquake, Ice Fang. Obviously Earthquake covers that electric type weakness. 4 times weak to electric is the only thing that I can see people getting really uptight about. But again, with the team we're running, we're not worried about electric types. We're really not. If you've seen by the thumbnail, we're not worried about electric types. Yeah, this thing is absolutely fantastic. Ice Fang, again, for good coverage. Waterfall, Stab. We don't have Stab flying on this thing. I don't know if the next generation is going to come in. If this thing got dual Wing Beat, it would just be absolutely stupid. Obviously, bounce is also a possible option if you guys do want to run a physical stab flying type move on this thing. Then I would say you could try and get bounce. I don't know how it's going to work again with the move shooters, egg moves, things. It's all assumptions that we're making about the game. I don't think bounce is going to be very viable. I just don't see it. If Dynamaxing is in the game, then maybe you could run bounce and do max airstream, and it would work like that. If Dynamaxing is in the game, then I would run 100% put bounce on this thing over Ice Fang. Again, if it's even a level up move set or a move shooter move, if it's an egg move, then of course we're not going to be going down that sort of route because that's just too dumb to even really think about. But yeah, like, it's all assumptions just making about the game. This thing in-game is just going to absolutely wreck lives, as we know, as it has done for many years, and it will continue to do so, and it will continue to be a top-tier mon as it goes on, because the stats don't lie. Its moveset and its coverage is amazing. It does mean you're going to have to use a fly HM slave, but again, something that's come into the game recently with the way the mechanics are. Again, we don't know how it's going to work in the game. I think it's going to be very much similar to the original, so you are going to need like HM slaves and people for rock climb and all that sort of stuff, which is going to be annoying, and it's going to be weird going back to that sort of stuff because we haven't had to deal with that sort of stuff for a long time. You know, Sword and Shield had the Corviknight taxi service sort of thing that you had, like you didn't need fly, and it was just one of those things. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works and what they do. But yeah, for water type for this run, we're going best. Gyarados is the best. It just is. Statistically, it's just the best. So it's our second team member. It's Gyarados. Pokemon number 3 then, you guys, and we're continuing on with our Fire, Water, Grass core that I like to run in these team builders. We're going for Roserade, and I will say this until the day that I die, that the best grass type in-game will and always be Roserade, just because of how hard it hits. It's really good speed, and it's surprisingly good special defense as well to be able to take hits. Compared to the last one, like I said, with the way that HMs work and the added Fairy, I've actually gone with all-out 4 attacks for this thing this time around. Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, like I said, making the assumption that Dazzling Gleam is going to be 1 at a TM and 2 accessible before post-game, so just keep that in mind. Giga Drain, Recovery, Sludge Bomb, Stab, hard-hitting move, Shadow Ball, why not? Just good special attacking move. With a chance to lower special defense as well. Really good base 125 special attack. You can get Badoo really early on in the game and help you with the first gym, especially since you probably won't have a Gyarados before the first gym, although you probably might be able to get him on Inferno and, you know, do all that sort of stuff. Roselia, level up with Happiness during the day, pretty standard, and then obviously Shiny Stone to get a Roserade, and hopefully if items are staying in the same locations, you're going to be able to get a Shiny Stone in Iron Island, which is just before the Byron fight. So really, really good solid mon, really works well throughout the game. I don't really know what else to say about this thing. It just does what it needs to do. It's a grass type, it helps out through all the gyms. It's the best grass poison type in the game. Again, depending on the decks, these are all the assumptions that I'm going to make. Don't know how viable Oddish is going to be, and then you're looking at things like Vileplume, maybe Victory Bell if they add some of the earlier gen mons with things like Bellsprout, but then if it was Victory Bell I'd probably run a physical one. And it's all these things just taken into mind, things that we know for sure about the original games and what I'm going to be putting together. It is going to be the best thing to put on your team, and if you haven't used the Roserade, then you definitely should do, because it will surprise you on how well this thing runs and how much it does do damage. Base 125 special attack on Roserade, base 125 on Gyarados, base 105 on both on Infernape. It's a very hard hitting team and does a very good job. It's our third team member, it's Roserade. Pokemon number 4 then, you guys, in time for some bulky offense up on this team. We have Bronzong. Now there were 2 considerations that I was talking about for this slot on the team, and it was between Bronzong and Magnezone. And it was just, the reason I've gone with Bronzong over Magnezone was just because of looking at the way it leveled up, its level up movesets in Generation 8. We don't know in terms of moves that are going to be returning for this game. Like I said, it's all assumptions that are going to be made. Is Signal Beam going to be available now? Because if you didn't know, that was a move that was removed from the games in Generation 8, along with Hidden Power as well. Although I would never recommend Hidden Power in-game, it's definitely an option. So if you're running a Magnezone in-game, it's normally going to be something like Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, Tri-Attack, and possibly something like maybe Volt Switch or something if you're doing a bit like that. I kind of didn't like the idea of that. I preferred the idea of Bronzong. Flash Cannon, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Charge Beam, Quiet Nature, so lowered speed. It's slow as anything. We don't lose anything by giving it minor speed nature. Up that special attack. It's still got that physical attack there if you want to run Gyro Ball, which is also going to hit even harder considering you've got a minus speed nature. So if you wanted to run that for majority of the game until you get all the TMs in. Charge Beam gives you a chance to get +1 special attack, which is always nice because you're going to be bulking those hits, because look at those defenses, of course you're going to be bulking those hits. Steel typing is always nice as well, with the addedness of Fairy in the game, so having a steel type on your team is always going to be super nice. Yeah, so Flash Cannon, Psychic, Shadow Ball, all chances to lower some defenses as well, which is really nice. Plus Charge Beam gives you a chance to up that defense. If this thing had Serene Grace, this set would be ridiculous. Like, honest to God, it would be absolutely nuts. But yeah, some bulky offense on this team is always really nice. Having just had that bulk, not that we haven't already got bulk, we've got quite hard-hitting mons already, but Gyarados has really good, surprisingly special good defense. Roserade has very good special defense. Bronzong has very good defenses both round. So Gyarados also has Intimidate. So the amount of offensive presence that's in this team, but also the fact that it can take hits well, it just solidifies it as the best, quotations, in my opinion, just the way that it all rounds together and works together. But it's our 4th team member, it's fantastic. Please give it a go if you haven't. It's Bronzong. On to Pokemon number 5 then, you guys, and this one should be an absolute no-brainer from the thumbnail, from just the games. It's the best in-game Pokemon that isn't a legendary, period. It's Garchomp. It solidifies the word best, because it's the most hard-hitting, it's quick, it hits hard, it can take it. Look at those stats. Just look at the stats. There's no red there. There's nothing even close to being red there. Base 108 physical, base 108 HP, plus its base 95 physical defense and 85 special defense. This thing takes hits. It can tank a hit really, really well. Base 130 physical attack with Adamant Nature is just absolutely ridiculous. Yes, it's 4 times weak to Ice, but it's not until late game that you're even bumping into Ice types, and we have a Bronzong and an Infernape on the team. Ice types aren't a problem. Like I say, with the 4 times weakness to Electric in Gyarados, Garchomp just deals with every electric type possible. With TMs, and again I'm making the assumption that TMs are going to be more than one use, we can chuck Earthquake on this thing and Gyarados. Dragon Claw for stab, Poison Jab for fairy types because they are now in the game. Stone Edge for ice types if you are daft enough to start staying against an ice type with Garchomp. You can click Stone Edge and absolutely obliterate it. Hopefully the access to Wayward Cave is going to be as early on as possible as it was beforehand, so you can get a Gibble as quickly as humanly possible. Early getting Dragon Rage is always really nice, everyone loves that. And it's never been something that's... a lot of pseudos in games, people were very put off by having to use them and how hard they are to level up. I'll agree that Salamence is one of them. Getting Bagon as late as you do in Emerald, people are really put off by Salamence because of how hard it is to level up that late in the game. Where Garchomp, you get Gibble so early on that it's a part of your team for a long time, and it hits hard as a Gibble, as a Gabite, and it never feels like a chore to level up, and then you finally get that Garchomp, and it just runs through. It runs through Volkner, it runs through Flynn. You can do work against Aron with it, Lucian with it. Like, it just destroys. It's a Garchomp. It does everything that it needs to do. It should be in any team that you're going to be using for this, for these new remakes. It should always be in any team that you're going to be using for these remakes, because it is the best in-game one, period. It's a 15 member. Use it. It's Garchomp. On to the final team member then, you guys, and straight away I'm making the assumption, and I really hope this is true, that Ice Punch is going to be available for Weavile in-game, either via Move Tutor or via Level Up, or they fix the problem that it has in Diamond and Pearl and that it can't learn a good Ice type move, because this thing is too good not to go on any team that you're going to be playing through Generation 4 again with. It's the Mon that I got slated for, probably the most for not using in the original team builders. People didn't like the fact that I never put Weavile on the team, and I understand why, because it is that good. Base 120 physical attack with Adamant Nature, base 125 speed. Cynthia's Garchomp doesn't stand a chance if you have an Ice type move. Ice Punch is going to destroy it. As good as I've just mentioned it and bulked it up as anything, an Ice Punch from a Weavile is going to absolutely destroy it. Night Slash, again, Dark type stab. Dark is really nice to have in the game, especially like I mentioned Lucian. Psychic type Elite 4 member, late game. You've got Candice might have her Frostlass, so you could have a Sneasel by then, maybe even have a Weavile by then with something like Knock Off or Night Slash, or I think Does it get crunch? It might get crunch. Poison Jab, again, fairy typing being in the game, we want to cover our weaknesses. Aerial Ace, if you're 4 times weak to fighting, don't stay against a fighting type, but if you do actually have to, I'm going to stick Aerial Ace in there. You could look at other things, you could put X-Scissor on there, you could run Brick Break on there if you really wanted to for other ice types maybe, just covering your weaknesses. I like this moveset, it covered every little basis that it has. Surprisingly good special defense as well, just don't take a physical attack because it just won't. Holding the Razor Claw at night to evolve it, so just keep that in mind when you're trying to evolve your Sneasel into Weavile. Make sure your switch is set to nighttime or you're actually playing in the evening, otherwise it won't evolve. But yeah, an absolutely fantastic physical mon, free physical, free special across the board. I thought the synergy in this team and just the coverage and just everything, it just works super, super well. It's our final team member, it's an amazing team member, it's Weavile. Alright then you guys, so that's going to be it for today's Pokemon team builder around Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now if you are watching this, like I said, after the games have been released and there are certain things about this team that aren't applicable, then please do remember that I'm recording and filming this before the games have even been released. But let's quickly go through that team one more time. We've gone with a Special Infernape, Gyarados, Roserade, Bronzong, Garchomp and Weavile. Free physical, free special, really nice typings, all double typings as well. I always like that fact that we have as many typings across the team as possible. Really nice synergy, really nice energy all together. It's definitely the team that I will be using the first time I play through the remakes. If you have enjoyed, definitely make sure to smash that like button down below for me. Show support towards the channel and the series. Check out any other team builders that we've done. All the links to the other team builders are in the description down below. Join the Discord. All that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Like I said, everything is in the description. Link down below. Most importantly, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Click the subscribe button, turn notifications on, all that good stuff. With that being said, you guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!